I remember very clearly back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton accused Donald Trump of not paying taxes. Do you remember Trump's response? That makes me smart. Classic Trump. Oh, Donald, come on. I can't lie. I love that moment. um, I know, if you pay taxes, you'll be mad hearing this. But jokes aside, there was actually a serious point behind what he said. Trump wasn't bragging about breaking the law. He was pointing out something most people never stop to think about. The tax system is designed to punish or reward you based on how you earn your money. By the way, Trump is not the only rich person to admit this. Warren Buffett has admitted that he pays less in taxes than his secretary. It's also well known that Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and other ultra-rich individuals pay little to no taxes. Why? I mean, why should nurses, teachers, doctors, carpenters, and others be made to pay more than these wealthy folks? This is unfair. Yes, it is, and it pisses off a lot of people. As a report published by the Pew Research Center revealed that 80% of Americans have a problem with this. But the truth is that most rich people aren't doing anything illegal. They're not hiding cash in suitcases or dodging the taxman in dark alleys. They're simply playing a different game, one most people were never taught. They understand the system and they use it to their advantage. That's exactly why I made this video. To show you how the rich use the buy, borrow, die strategy to pay less in taxes while continuing to grow their wealth. But before we continue, my name is Oliver. I'm a finance nerd who's taken it upon myself to help you improve your money knowledge using what I've learned over the years. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. However, this is not financial advice and should not be treated as such. Now, back to business. In the next few minutes, I want to help you understand the foundation of the massive wealth gap we see in America, where the rich keep getting richer while paying little to no taxes, and the low and middle class stay stuck in the mud, paying more and more. And here's the key thing: this isn't illegal. It's a set of perfectly legal strategies the wealthy use to live lavishly. Even more interesting, when they die, much of that wealth can be passed on to their heirs without triggering taxes, meaning the heirs can sell those assets and still pay little or nothing in taxes. Knowing this won't magically make you rich, but it will open your eyes to the different games the wealthy play, games most people are never taught. If you really sit down and study the US tax code, a clear pattern emerges. When you trade your time for money, earned income, you pay taxes. But when you earn money through assets, when your money works for you, the tax bill shrinks or sometimes disappears entirely. This isn't speculation. In 2021, ProPublica backed it up with a report based on leaked IRS data, exposing how the ultra-wealthy legally minimize their taxes. The rich understand this system very well, which is why they use a strategy called buy, borrow, die. If this is your first time hearing about it, let me walk you through how it works. The first part of the strategy is buy. You've probably heard the saying that rich people don't sit on cash, and that's true. As soon as they make money, they put it to work by buying assets. Robert Kiyosaki explains this well. Assets are things that grow in value over time and put money in your pocket. Think rental properties, stocks, crypto, or even art. Let's look at someone like Warren Buffett to see this in action. At the time of this video, he's worth around $148 billion. Buffett built his fortune by buying an asset back in 1965, Berkshire Hathaway, a holding company that owns over 60 businesses, including Dairy Queen, GEICO, and Clayton Homes, and holds shares in giants like Coca-Cola, Apple, and Bank of America. Here's the fascinating part. Let's say Berkshire Hathaway earns an 8% annual return, which is actually conservative. His net worth would grow by nearly $11.8 billion a year. And because he doesn't take the money out, he pays zero taxes on that growth. That's right, you heard me. $11.8 billion a year, doing essentially nothing and paying zero taxes. In other words, the ultra-rich only pay taxes on what they actually spend, while you and I, regular W-2 earners, pay taxes on everything we earn. Of course, rich people still have needs. They need cash for certain purchases. So you might be thinking, Oliver, if they don't take money out of their assets, how do they get cash? That's where the second part of the strategy comes in. Borrow. Instead of selling their assets, the wealthy simply borrow against them. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. If pulling $100 million out of a portfolio means handing $20 million straight to Uncle Sam, why do that when you can take a $100 million loan instead? And here's the key detail. The US tax code doesn't tax loans. Why? Because a loan is debt. It's not earned income, and it's not money made from selling an asset, capital gains. Now, before you ask, but how easy is it to get a loan like that? Let me show you. Basically, once you've built substantial wealth, banks don't chase you, you become the prize. They'll compete to lend you money, often at very attractive interest rates. Let's use Uncle Buffett again. If Warren Buffett needed $500 million in cash, all he'd have to do is walk into a bank and say, "You know who I am. I own Berkshire Hathaway, and I'm worth over $100 billion. I'd like a $500 million loan against my assets." And because of the sheer value of his portfolio, the bank wouldn't hesitate. They'd gladly hand him the loan, often at a very low interest rate, sometimes under 3%. I don't know if you've heard of the $1 salary club. If not, these are ultra-wealthy people who officially pay themselves just $1 a year. Elon Musk is part of this club. So are Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, and even Arnold Schwarzenegger. Instead of taking large salaries and getting taxed on them, they keep their wealth invested in their portfolios, letting it compound. Then, when they need cash for their million-dollar lifestyles, they simply borrow against those assets. The third part of the strategy is die, and this is where the whole system really shows how powerful it is. This is one of the main reasons wealthy families stay wealthy for generations. So the question is, what actually happens to a rich person's wealth when they die? Well, the tax code allows their heirs to inherit assets at current market value, as if they were just bought. This is called the stepped-up basis. Let me use myself as an example. But this won't happen to me since I'm the son of poor immigrants from Iran. But I believe my kids could experience it. Imagine my billionaire dad bought a house 15 years ago for $2 million, and by the time he passes away, it's worth $9 million. When I inherit it, I take ownership at that $9 million value, and if I sell, I pay no capital gains tax on the appreciation. It's only if I hold on to it longer and the value rises to $10 million that I'd pay taxes after selling, and only on that $1 million increase. So what about the loans? What happens if a wealthy person dies before fully paying them off? Do those debts get passed on to their heirs? In most cases, no. Wealthy individuals typically have large life insurance policies specifically structured to pay off those loans upon death. The debt is cleared, and the heirs inherit the assets without the burden. During Joe Biden's presidency, there were attempts to eliminate the stepped-up basis and raise the capital gains tax rate from 20% to 39.6%. But even those changes wouldn't significantly impact the ultra-rich. Why? Because they still wouldn't sell their assets. they'd let them compound, borrow against them tax-free, and continue living comfortably. And to be clear, I didn't make this video to complain about the rich or attack the tax system. Because the capital wealthy people invest is what fuels companies, creates jobs, and keeps the economy running. So I'm not bitter about the tax code. If anything, it motivates me. Because if I can turn my earned income into assets, I can play the same game and benefit from the same system. And that's exactly how I want you to see it. If you enjoyed this video, it was my pleasure to serve you. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.